Hello friends, so today let's learn about India's electoral politics in form of question and answers. Question 1. What is the most common form of democracy? Answer. The most common form of democracy is people to govern themselves through the leaders whom they have elected. What happened in Haryana in 1987? People were unhappy with the Congress government which was ruling since 1982. Chaudhry Devilal formed a new party called Lok Dal and joined with some more parties. Devilal promised people that his party would waive the loans of farmers and small businessmen if his party came to power. People got attracted to this offer and voted for him in elections. The Lok Dal, that is Chaudhry Lal's party, won majority 76 out of 90 seats in the state assembly and Devilal became CM. As soon as he became the CM, he issued a government order waiving the outstanding loans of small farmers, agricultural laborers, and small businessmen. What are the advantages of elections? People can elect leaders they like who will help them and who will make laws for them. People can change leaders if the current leaders are not helping them. People can elect leaders who will form the government to take major decisions. People can elect leaders whose policies will guide the government and lawmaking. What are the few properties of democratic elections? People should be able to vote and each vote must be of the same value. Leaders should be able to freely contest in elections so that the people can elect them or not. Elections must be held every few years. Candidate preferred by people should get elected. Election should be conducted in a free and fair manner. People elected should have powers to rule according to the constitution and citizens' rights. What are few good bad properties of electoral competition? So at the constituency level, electoral competition takes a form of competition among several candidates. This creates a sense of disunity and factionalism in every locality, which is called as party politics. Different groups are formed and they dislike each other and they fight among each other. Each group or party puts allegations against the other, and long-term sensible policies cannot be formed very easily. Good people who wish to serve the country do not enter such a system because they dislike unhealthy politics. Political leaders always want to advance their political careers and remain in power. What is the ideal situation for politicians? The ideal situation is all politicians are well educated and they serve the country. But ideal situation is not possible always. What is practical situation for politicians? Practical situation is when a politician does something good, reward the politician, and when they do things wrong, criticize them. A politician who does wrong will be afraid because the next time the people will not vote for him. It's like a shopkeeper. If shopkeeper does not provide good services, customer will go to some other shop. Even though it is ugly, in the long run, maybe this system will provide good results. Give few facts about Lok Sabha and Vidhana Sabha. Lok Sabha and Vidhana Sabha also called Assembly, elections are held regularly after every 5 years. Lok Sabha have MPs, members of parliament, chosen by the people for country level, and their head is the Prime Minister. Okay, this is at the country level. Vidhana Sabha has MLAs, member of Legislative Assembly. This is at the state level, not at the country level. This is at the state level and their head is the Chief Minister of the state. At the end of 5 years, both Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha are dissolved and general elections happen to select which next party will form the government. The party whose MP or MLAs win the largest number of seats will be invited to form the government. Question 9. What are electoral constituencies? For central locations, that is the elections, that is the Lok Sabha, the whole country is divided into 543 different areas. In each area, one MP of any party can win an election. Whichever party wins most of the constituencies, they get to form the government in India. So thanks to Wikipedia for the picture. Yeah, you can see India being distributed into small parts. Each small part is one constituency. Okay, there are 543 such constituencies at the national level for Lok Sabha. Okay, Similarly, for the state election, which is Vidhan Sabha, the whole state is divided into 224 parts. That is for Karnataka. For other state, it might be different. It might be a different number. But for Karnataka, the state is divided into 224 areas, and one MLA of any party can win in each of the area. Whichever party wins most of the constituencies gets to form the state government. Thanks to Wikipedia for the pictures to show MP areas in India and MLA areas in India. Similarly, Panchayat and municipal elections are also there for village and town, and each village or town is divided into several wards that are like constituencies. Why is reservation necessary? The constitution makers were worried that in an open electoral competition, certain weaker sections might not stand a good chance to get elected. They might not have the required resources or education and contacts to contest and win elections. So in Lok Sabha, some constituencies are reserved for people who belong to scheduled castes, that is SC, which is 84 seats, and some other seats are reserved for scheduled tribes, that is 47 seats. What is a voters list? The electoral roll, commonly known as a voters list, is a list of all individuals who are eligible to vote. In India, everyone aged 18 years and above can vote. Some criminals and persons with unsound mind can be denied the right to vote. Persons who turn 18 are added to list, and those who die or move to another location are removed from the list. Who is qualified to become a leader? What information should he or she provide? In India, Indian citizen aged 25 years or above is eligible to contest in election and become a leader through an existing party or his own party. If one of the political parties nominates such candidate, they will give him what is known as a ticket for election. The candidate has to fill nomination form and give little money as security deposit to cover electoral cost and information about any criminal cases against him or her and his or her assets. How many lands does he own? How many houses does he own? What is his bank balance, etc. And also his or her educational qualifications. What are the election campaigns? What happens during them? Before elections, parties announce to people why that they are the best party to get elected and why people should vote for them. This is called election campaign. Usually in India it happens 2 weeks before the election date, but the preparation for the same starts many months before. Political leaders, in this case, contact voters, hold election meetings and mobilize party supporters during election campaigns. The news channel show election stories and results and hold political debates during election campaigns. What are the few popular slogans broadcasted by party during campaigns? Garibi Hatao, that is remove poverty, was a slogan broadcasted by Indira Gandhi of the Congress party during Lok Sabha elections of 1971. Save Democracy by Jaiprakash Narayan, who was from Janata Party during Lok Sabha elections of 1977 is another slogan. Another slogan is give the land to the tiller. That is, the farmer who works in the lands is the owner, is the slogan given by Left Front of West Bengal during assembly elections of 1977. Protect the self-respect of Telugus is a slogan given by N.T. Ramarao from Telugu Desam Party in the AP Assembly elections during 1983. What are the few rules of electoral campaigns? Political leaders / election contestants cannot bribe or threaten voters. You cannot appeal to voters based on caste or religion or use place of worship for election propaganda. So election must be kept separate from the religion. Cannot use government resources for election campaigns. Cannot spend more than 25 lakh INR per constituency in a Lok Sabha election. Cannot spend more than 10 lakh INR per constituency in state assembly election. Cannot use government vehicles or aircrafts or officials for election purposes. Just before election, the party cannot start any projects or make any big policy decisions or make any promises. What is the process on the day of election? The voter goes to the polling booth and he shows his or her identification to election officials. The official put an ink mark on the left hand index finger to indicate that the user has been given the chance to vote and that the user has voted. After this, the voter goes to the electronic voting machine and pushes the button next to the candidate whom he wants to vote for. Compare the cost of election with some others. Cost of election in 2014 for Lok Sabha was around 3,500 crores from the government side. Much more was spent by the candidates themselves, but from the government side it was 3,500 crores. The cost of a nuclear submarine is 3,000 crores. The cost of hosting Delhi Commonwealth Games is 20,000 crores. So elections is by no means a less costly affair. It is very costly to hold an election. Who won Gulbarga elections in 2014 Lok Sabha elections? So Gulbarga is a constituency and there are many lakhs of people who voted during those elections in Gulbarga constituency, and in that Mallikarjun Kharge from Congress party won most of the votes. He won 5,07,193 votes as compared to the second runner-up, who is Revu Naik Belamagi, who won 4,32,460 votes, and the rest of the votes were won by other parties. But the person who wins most number of votes is the winner, and he becomes the MP of that constituency. Hence, in 2014 Lok Sabha elections in Gulbarga constituency, Mallikarjun Kharge became the MP. How are votes counted? After the voting day, electronic voting machines are sealed and then taken to a secure place. On a particular date, all EVMs from a particular constituency are opened and votes are counted in presence of agents from all parties to make it a fair election. The candidate or political leader with highest number of votes is winner. For example, in the previous case, since in Gulbarga when voting happened, Mallikarjun Kharge got 5,07,193 votes, which was more than any other candidate, so he was the winner and he became the MP. Mention some of the malpractices that could happen. Inclusion of false names and exclusion of genuine names in voters list. Misuse of government facilities and officials by the ruling party. Excessive use of money by rich candidates and big parties. Intimidation of voters and rigging on the polling day. So all these malpractices that could happen during election should be stopped. Key point to show that Indian elections are fair as much as possible. India has independent and very powerful election commission, which is called EC, that conducts fair election and that does not report to the ruling party. The chief election commissioner, who is the head of EC, election commission, is appointed by President of India and he is not answerable to anyone. The EC, that is Election Commission, punishes any candidate, including the ruling party, who breaks election rules. When EC feels that there was some mismanagement or rigging or unfairness in the election, it orders a re-election or a re-poll. Voter turnout, that is the percentage of eligible people who actually vote. That is, if you have 100 people who are eligible and only 80% people actually vote, that is 80% turnout. This turnout has increased in India over the years, which means people are believing that Indian elections are fair and they are participating wholeheartedly. Poor people vote in larger numbers as compared to any other country. So in other countries, poor people vote in a smaller percentage than the rich people. But in our country, the percentage of people who vote among the poor people is more. So that means that the elections are fair. Common people in India attach a lot of importance to election and campaigning activities. The ruling party sometimes lose. Okay, so this means that the elections are fair, because if the elections were not fair, the ruling party would never lose. Candidates who buy votes or have criminal cases have lost elections. Therefore, elections are fair. Most of election results are accepted by the defeated party as people's verdict. This also indicates that the elections are fair, because if they thought that the elections were unfair, then the defeated party would start agitation saying that elections were not fair. Okay, so Indian election is fair overall as much as possible. Only, a common man does not have enough money or resources to contest the elections. And point number B, independent parties are not as powerful as the established ones. But barring all these small things, overall the Indian elections are as fair as much as possible.
We have thoroughly studied, digested, thought about and simplified the concepts for you. So please like, share and subscribe.